Welcome to IPASS Online Academy and welcome everyone. Of course, welcome in Hope Talk. So, ayan. So, our Hope Talk, what we do every day is we interview our passers who have done their NCLEX and already aced their NCLEX and their NCLEX journey. And of course, we would like to learn from them with the techniques they've done during their journey, and of course, to be inspired by their story and to share with us. So again, as I was always saying before, every Hope Talk is actually it's a hope talk. So it always give us hope, no? Because every night we have our guests. It's just a symbol that we have a pastor every day, no? And that's very true that pastors are pouring in, and there are a lot of people who are already listed down, no? Every single day to have our hope talk and hope. No, one day you'll also be one of them, ayan, to be our guest here at Hope Talk. So, ayan, without further ado, I would like to welcome one of our newest pastor. No, ayan. Let us all welcome Miss Darielle Ampong, USRN.
Po, good evening po, Coach Justin. Good evening,
Ayan.
everybody
Mm-mm.
who's accessing the recorded and also for the live mga students po ngayon na nag-attend po ng
Yes,
live
yes.
ng Hope Talk. Yes po.
Yeah. So, ayan, Ma'am Darielle. So, nasa Philippines po kayo ngayon, ma'am, no?
Yes, I'm currently residing po sa Cebu. So I'm working here also as a nurse while studying for NCLEX until now na napasa ko na po yung NCLEX po, sir.
Wow.
Sorry.
So, ayan, before we start and hear your story, I would just like to know, how do you feel at this very moment that you have already had your USRN title?
It's overwhelming po, sir, Coach po, kasi when I was still processing for NCLEX, mataas-taas po yung process po kasi Texas BON po yung license na ina-applyan ko. So,
medyo matagal-tagal.
yes. And also, I was, at that time po na nagpa-process ako, I was assigned sa COVID ward until the time na nag-take ako ng exam Feb 1. So, so parang sa COVID time talaga yung preparation until the time na nag-take this po.
Ayan. We are so excited to hear your whole story. So, can you give us a background of your nursing education? When did you graduate, and of course, your experience as a nurse before this NCLEX journey came up?
I graduated way back 2013 dito sa Cebu. So I studied in Velas College. And also, I didn't work as a nurse after I graduated kasi at that time, yung mga nurses is, alam mo naman, yung sweldo or nag-volunteer pa. So, ayoko na
pa rin yung 2013,
Yes, so ayoko na manghingi sa mama ko noon. So, I worked in a different field. Nag-ahente ako, nag-call center ako before. Nag-ano ko sa calling ng nursing talaga noong 2018. So I'm in the same hospital pa rin. So I'm working in sa Vicente Soto Memorial Medical Center. So I've been working na as a nurse for almost 5 years na. So currently assigned sa medical surgical ward pa rin.
So you're in the medical surgical ward, and you were telling us a while ago that you've been also assigned in the COVID unit. When did this started? Like, is it before or is it during the COVID season?
Well, sa amin kasi niro-rotate kami. So when COVID started, the isolation ward, kasali ako sa yung mga batches ng naunang yung sa SARI kasi yung severe acute respiratory unit, yung yung sinasalang pa kung positive or negative yung patient, yung mga may symptoms ng same sa COVID. Then when I was processing the NCLEX na exam, that time COVID ward na talaga ako naka-assign. Until I took the exam noong February 1. Yes po.
So, ayun, gaano din, ma'am, katagal yung iyong preparation during this journey?
Actually, I prepared because I applied December 2021. But then for the exams, because under ako ng cycle 5, but I wasn't able to review agad kasi parang ang layo-layo, parang iniisip ko kasi noon, ang layo-layo pa ng pina-process ko, parang ayoko pa munang mag-review. But then when I had my ATT already, parang doon ako parang nag-cramming. So, yeah. Pero nagre-read na ako konti, sa Saunders, I used Saunders as a reference also. And then, nagtutok na talaga ako sa IPASS review, yung online review, first week of November. So, yeah, it was like, November, December, January. So 3 months lang talaga yung i-google ko. Yes, but I was on duty, so not every day makakapanood ako ng review. So ako team
team replay.
Team replay talaga ako. So I tried to watch, I tried to join yung isang beses ng live, pa hindi ko na kaya talaga kasi I have a duty on the next day pa, so hindi ko talaga kaya yung live. So kahit naman replay, I'm very, very thankful that IPASS offered, the replay kasi nakakatulong talaga siya sa mga students na cannot really watch the live, especially yung hectic yung schedule, may mga family matters, ganon. So, yeah, I'm very, very thankful talaga sa sa mga mentors natin, and nakakatuwa lang kasi yung maalala mo lang yung kasi hindi na ako nakakapag-replay again ng mga videos kasi parang yung time ko is very limited na.
Limited na.
Yes, so but I remember things kasi sabi yung mga like ni Sir Ryan, yung ding 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 ding, yung ganon. Yung may mga talaga, yung kay Mr. Sana, yung may mga kanta siya na to memorize, like the immunization, yun, maalala mo talaga. So it really helps talaga, especially sometimes may mga side stories sila na regarding sa mga experiences nila during the exam. May maalala ka talaga sa mga lessons na sinasabi nila, even though it's not really on the topic, but yung mga side stories nila, may maalala ka talaga, which will actually really help you during the exam.
So ayun, no, and it's really common, no, as I was advising my students, no, if you cannot really follow the live sessions, then stop following it, no? Kasi there are a lot of people who will do everything just to follow the live sessions, even though they really can't. Like, for example, they are really tired from work, then they will go home, they will watch this live session, but in the middle of it, they will fall asleep until the next morning. Sabi ko, there's nothing happening there, but kumbaga, parang sayang kasi napakinggan mo na yung umpisa, but you were not able to finish it, and it would be nonsense to jump into another lesson without really finishing the first one. So mas suggested pa pag ganyan, no, na you have your work or you have different kind of schedule, is to have the schedule that you prefer the most. It's just, you will just adjust, no, magiging team replay ka talaga. But alam mo yun, we have different kumbaga situations in life, and if you are working and you would like to balance these two, then it's really part of it, no, you really have to compromise. Even though you would like to attend the live sessions, okay sana kung ang work mo umaga tapos gabi saktong-sakto yung oras pang review, di ba? It's okay sana kung kakayanin natin. Pero if it's not, then you could just go with the recording, no? Marami rin namang sa recording. Yun nga lang, there are really people with different preferences, di ba? Mas gusto talaga ng iba kasi mas lively, mas sila nakaka-comment, napapa-shower out sa teng-teng. Di ba? Kasi syempre pag recorded, hindi ka mapapa-shower out. So that's a difference, no? But we can just adjust to what we have, di ba? Pag-ubrahin natin kung anong meron. Sabi nga nila, pag maigsi ang kumot, matutong mamaluktot, no? And if you are working and it really doesn't work the way you would like it to be, then let's adjust. Maybe a recording is one of the best option. And ma'am, I would just like to know, no, because you've been out of the nursing education for quite a long time na rin, no? 2013 graduate, so medyo ilang years ito. Tama ba ako if it's like 9 years? Parang ganun ba? 8
Yep.
8 to 9?
Nag-graduate kasi
Na,
ako March 23, 2013. So it's almost 10 years. This 23.
di ba? Di ba? Di
Oo.
ba? So there are really, I think you've also experienced struggle or adjustment during the first encounter of reviewing nursing theories again. How was the experience?
Well, yung experience ko kasi it's good thing na nasa clinical field ako ngayon kasi you can para may ma-reflect ka sa mga ginagawa natin sa work, sa ano yung nasa lessons, and there are things na you especially the updated mga updated na mga things natin sa nursing field na hindi pa talaga na-adapt natin dito sa Philippines na in the US, which is yun na yung ginagawa. So,
Yes.
makaka-reflect ka talaga.
Yes.
Sa akin lang din, when it comes to adjustment, hindi naman masyadong napakahirap naman talaga. Especially most of the things that we do in the hospital were also in the review. So, para nakaka-reflect ka. I think that's the advantage talaga coach na kapag may experience ka no sa yung bedside experience, may maaalala ka at saka parang magaguided ka na ito pala yung tama, ito pala yung updated, so dapat gawin natin to sa patients natin.
Yes,
Parang ganun.
yes.
Yes
Actually,
po.
having an experience has its own disadvantage and advantages. Sabi ko nga, it doesn't really mean that if we have the experience or we are fresh grad, it doesn't mean that we have the advantage over those who doesn't have experience or over those who have graduated for a long time. Because it doesn't really matter. It's about the education really of applying it to what we have now, di ba? For example, sa practice mo, tama yun ma'am, no? You try to, whenever you see a topic, for example, you try to apply that to your practice. Is that what you do?
Yeah.
Okay.
Parang
Dapat pala
ginaganon.
ganito. This is better. Parang gano'n, no? And that's actually true, no? Because it's easier to understand or to memorize those things if you apply it at work, eh. Di ba, no? If you are working at this very moment, it's easier na parang, dapat pala ganito pala mag-extract ng blood or ganito pala dapat mag-regulate ng BT or ganito pala dapat mag-handle ng CTT, di ba? But you really have the disadvantages. If you will just focus on the practice, then there is difference. There is difference. That's why we also have to have the content talaga, the knowledge, because tulad ng sinabi mo ma'am, no, you realize, no? You realize that there is difference na parang ay updated na pala to. Dapat pala ganito. So that's realization is one good thing because it made you realize the differences between the local practice and the international practice or the NCLEX, because that too has really difference. And sometimes pag hindi concrete yung knowledge natin doon sa ating pinag-aralan dito sa IPASS, what happened is we go back to practice. Paano nga ba ginagawa namin sa hospital? And sometimes, no, sometimes it's wrong. Sometimes it's wrong. That's why maganda yung example mo, ma'am, no, instead of focusing on our practice, try to adapt what you learn to our practice, and that's a very good way of adapting, adjusting, and to memorize it better. And I think that's a good technique. No,
Yes po.
you have also told us that you're reading Saunders for a while, and what are the other materials that you use during this journey?
Yung reading usually Saunders, but I wasn't able to finish Saunders parang sa pediatrics pediatrics na cardio lang ako nag-stop. And then I used for my Q banks, I used Archer. Actually, I haven't finished Archers talaga. Parang hindi ako nag-half kasi I started my Q banks, cramming na talaga. I started my Q banks mga second, third week of January. Then yung exam ko is February 1.
Wow. Medyo late na nga yun. At least sana 3 months before the exam, eh.
Yes, actually nag-subscribe talaga ako ng Archers for 3 months. But then yung target ko kasi may sinend noon si Sir Mark na yung tracker
Review
natin
activity
ay
tracker.
pinrint ko talaga siya at saka
Mm.
inano ko talaga kung how many content na yung dapat ko tapusin before my exam date. Parang dinidivide-divide
Ah,
ko. Yun yung ginagawa ko. Kaya parang team replay lang talaga kasi kung off ko I'll try to finish mga dalawa or
mm,
usually mga dalawang sets of 4 hours na na review.
mm, mm,
So yun ginagamit ko talaga yung tracker. It's really really helpful talaga pag may tracker
mm,
ka. Then when
mm,
parang I think I almost finished everything. Yung hindi ko lang natapos is yung cardio na sa 4 videos ng
mm,
cardio,
mm,
dalawa lang yung na-finish ko. And
mm,
then, that's the time na I stopped, then nag-Q-banks na ako. So,
mm,
basically, content is king. Content is king
mm,
talaga, sabi ni Sir Jay.
mm,
So, I really focused sa talaga, sa videos. Kasi
mm,
I'm trying to really understand yung to talaga, parang nire-refresh ko talaga siya. And then,
mm,
after that, yun, nag-Q-banks na. Doon na ako. Yung sinasabi nila ni na Miss Rosana na Q-banks muna. Yeah, Q-banks after na sa content talaga. So,
yes. Mm.
I just followed it and it really helped me.
So, ayun, no, and as I was saying before, no, it's really the combination of two things. Eh. It's first, of course, is your knowledge, which is your content. That's why we're studying. That's why we're reviewing. That's why we have this tracker to make sure that we have undergone everything, di ba? So you use
Yes.
that, no, sa mga natin, no, students that is listening right now, no, you can access your review activity tracker. That's a list of topics that should be taken. So kahit paano you have your guide. It has already also the scores there, so you can do the drills after. Because for me, for example, I do suggest is do the lecture first, then second, incorporate it with your roadmap, and the third thing to do is really to incorporate your drills or your examination. So the scores you can get there, you can put it in there, no, sa iyong review activity tracker, so that you can also assess yourself. Nasa na ba akong part ng journey? Am I still on the middle, medyo hirap pa rin ba ako, no? Because you will be
Mm-mm.
able to assess that eh. I don't know if you've encountered that, ma'am, before, na nung una hirap na hirap talaga tayo magsagot, no? Pero kalaunan, no,
Mm-mm.
you will experience that okay, dumadali na yung pag-intindi ko sa question, and I was able to answer this thing. Oh, tama yung rasyo ko dito, parehas kami ng understanding. Have you experienced that, ma'am?
Yes, first, yung mga first lessons pa. Talagang hindi, especially kapag SATA, napaka talaga, parang may times na kulang ka talaga ng one
Isa.
of the mga choices, may times na
uh,
sobra ka. So,
uh,
parang nakaka-frustrate din minsan talaga yung
mm,
hindi mo
mm,
makuha-kuha, nandiyan na yun, may makukuha
mm,
ka pero hindi talaga lahat. Pero
uh,
as time goes by, parang may mga ini-incorporate din kasi sila, especially sa drills ni Sir Ryan,
mm,
you will
mm,
really realize na, ito pala talaga. Tama talaga. Ito pala talaga yung tamang sagot talaga. Dapat kasali pala ito. Dapat hindi talaga ito kasali. So, you will realize if ever magdi-drills ka talaga, what I advise to our students also is to really listen carefully to the rationale talaga. It's very, very important yung rationale talaga kasi kahit yung question, iniiba-iba lang yan ng yung pag-construct, pero yung situation, yung choices, iniiba-iba yung words. It's just the same thing. So, yun, dapat alam mo talaga yung rationale. Yun po. Mm-mm.
Oo nga eh. Yun talaga, no? Sabi ko nga, knowledge and test-taking skills. Skills yan. When you say it's a skills, you have to train it, di ba? For you to be able to learn the skill. So you have to train it. The way you can train it is, of course, to do your Q banks, no? You do your drills, pre-test, post-test. That's why we suggest that question banks at the end. Because we are confident that you already have the knowledge. If you already have the content, the knowledge of the content, then you can apply it to your test taking skills, to your test taking. So we can see kung naintindihan ko na ba yung questions. Because I don't know if you agree, ma'am, that the NCLEX, the questions there are really tricky.
True, very tricky talaga. Parang
Uh,
may mga questions talaga na hindi mo ma-imagine na pwede pala 'to ma-question.
Sometimes nga, no, it's easier to actually understand the question, but it's hard to incorporate your answers. Sometimes when you read the answers, parang, naku, parang wala namang kalalaman yung answer dito. Ba't walang sagot? Di ba? No?
Opo.
Sometimes you will think that way. But meron yan, no? You just have to see it clear. And sometimes, no, tulad nga ng lagi kong sinasabi din, no, expect the unexpected. Sometimes what you expect is not what will be asked during your exam, no? Maaaring you have the, ano, kasi, but di ba nga, ang important pa rin dyan is, of course, our knowledge, di ba? For example, you are
Mm.
expecting maybe a sodium level, but they will ask you about the calcium level. Something like that, di ba? Mga ganung bagay.
Yes, yes
But
po.
it's very tricky, and talagang important talaga we try to practice using our question banks. Ma'am, I would like to know, how did this experience, how did you know that you need, you already need to do your question banks? Because as you were saying a while ago that you've been reviewing for quite some time the recorded, but you felt like your time is running up. How did you feel that way? Is there a lack of preparation? Hindi naman? Or paano ba naisip yun na parang, ay, lacking na ako ng time, I need to do my question banks now?
The time kasi when I was using the tracker,
Mm-hmm.
kasi yung nasa isip ko noon, I should focus on the content talaga. Because I already had the drill. So the drills already helped me already with the question. So parang
Mm-hmm.
iniisip ko na I have questions na naka-cover na ko, especially if mag-drills, 'di ba? Usually mga 50 questions, may
Yes, yes.
yung pinaka konti lang is I think 25 questions. So I believe I had my Q banks incorporated with the content when I had
Yes,
the live
yes.
review of the recorded video. So
Mm-hmm.
if I'm going to answer the Q banks na yung sa Archers kasi yung ginagamit ko, so parang additional na siya, pero parang may additional na ako kasi I believe that the questions used in the drills are from UWorld
Mm-hmm.
and may iba Saunders as per Miss Rosana. So
Mm-hmm.
hindi ako masyadong na-stress kung hindi ako nakabili ng UWorld kasi alam ko I have
You had
the
the
UWorld
experience.
questions already. Yeah, the experience already with
Yes.
the live or the recorded
Uh,
video. So I can have Archer. So I have another resources naman. So
mm,
somehow parang I felt na I need to have the Q banks na yung straight talaga na 75 questions or 150
mm,
questions,
mm.
yung nafe-feel ko na okay na ako sa content.
Okay,
I'm done with the
that's great.
content. So, I have
Mm,
to use it already. Yung content,
mm,
yung knowledge na nag-gain ko doon, na-refresh na knowledge
mm,
ko from the content, i-apply ko siya sa Q banks. And
mm,
from there, yun, I think I actually had mga 1,200 questions sa Archers, which the
mm,
Archers parang merong 2,800 questions.
mm,
But then I know na yung content na earn ko from IPASS review, it really helped me answering
mm,
my Archers because makaka-assessment ka and CAT ka kasi. So yung mga CAT ko all pass naman.
mm.
Then my assessment usually high naman din siya. So yun,
Oh,
parang feel ko na I think it's
oh.
okay na ganito. Yun po.
Sometimes nga, no, sometimes what we really do with question banks is just a revalidation, di ba, of what we've had, because we've already have the knowledge, the content. We've tried the drills, the mock test, the predictor test, and somehow we have the experience of what NCLEX would be. But we would like to revalidate, no, if this knowledge is enough. So I would like to try this kind of application, or maybe Archer or UWorld. Sabi ko nga, no, kahit naman ano talaga yan, no, may it be Archer, may it be World, it will still teach you the same thing, no. It will still teach you the line of thought, the way the question thinks, because you have to understand how it thinks, to a point na there will come a time that when you read the question, parang every important important word there will emboss. Yeah? I don't know if you
Yes, yes.
experience that na parang nagbabasa ka, but there are those important words na ay, napapag-connect-connect. Okay, ito ang sagot dyan. Ito ang hinahanap nitong question na to. And somehow
Mm-mm.
that's actually your test taking skills, no? Na we've already learned the test taking skill that way, no? That we're able to see the question clearly. Ma'am, I would also like to know, 1 week before your preparation, you were telling us a while ago that you live in Cebu.
Yes, I'm
So
living in
how
Cebu.
was your preparation going here in Manila?
Yung binuko ko po yung yung hotel kasi yung hotel is One Pacific, which is like 2 minutes walk lang to Pearson
Mm,
View. So nag-book ako like within the week yung
mm,
nag-schedule na ako ng ng exam para hindi masyadong mahal. Yun. At saka yung
mm,
plane ticket, binuko na lang din.
mm,
So when I went there, binuko yung flight 31st. Yes. So, dumating ako ng Manila January 31, a day
ah,
before my exam. Kasi wala akong budget na magstay ng, ng hotel for another day. So,
ah,
pang overnight na talaga siya. And
ah,
then, so far, noon, nagpunta ng Manila. I went with my colleague also took the exam. We took the exam together. And
mm,
then
ah,
we went to
mm,
Baclaran the day we arrived in
mm.
Manila, and then after that we stayed in the hotel, and then yun, chill na lang muna. Ayoko na muna wala, hindi ka na makakonsentrate kung mag-review ka pa
Yes,
talaga.
yes, yes, yes. And how did you prepare like the week before that? Because I know that there are a lot of students here also who could relate to that because 1 week before your exam, that's the highest anxiety you could ever have, no? Minsan tumataas talaga
Yes.
yung ano namin diyan, yung aming mga coaching session at that time, yung mga 1 week na lang, mga 3 days na lang diyan talaga tumataas ang anxiety. How were you able to manage this experience?
Well, the week before my exam, I actually booked a coaching session with Miss Rosenda on a
Okay.
Sunday, but then
Oo.
ay oh, pero hindi ako natuloy kasi may ano ako sa
Hmm,
internet problema. And then
mm.
she rebooked me 3 days before my exam. Sabi niya, very short time na daw talaga. And then we
Oo,
just talked about yung ano daw yung dapat kong gawin the
oo.
night or prior to going to
Yes,
exam, at saka
yes,
yung
yes.
ano yung dapat kainin, ganun. Hindi talaga ako sabi niya, kumain daw ako ng heavy meal, no,
Oo,
para hindi ako gutumin kasi magutumin din ako. So,
mm.
mahilig ako
Oo,
kumain. Sabi niya, kumain ka ng yung may McDonald's diyan, kumain ka. I bought chicken sa McDonald's or Jollibee ata 'yun. The night before the exam para hindi na ako lumabas. Pero parang yung nagki-kick in yung anxiety ko when I was about
oo.
to go na sa Pearson View. Ano lang, yung ginaganon ko lang yung chicken. Parang 3 ganon lang ng chicken. Hindi talaga ako makakain. Hindi talaga. Sumakit pa talaga yung tiyan ko. Pagdating ko ng Pearson View, nung nandun na kami, nakaupo na. Oh my
Mm.
God. Yung sa pa lang, yung binabasa pa yung
Yeah,
instructions. Yeah,
the
so,
terms and conditions,
yeah. Pinag-pray ko na lang talaga ni Lord. Nilet go ko na talaga kung if
yes,
this is for me,
yes,
ibibigay niya
yes.
sa akin. Kung not for me pa, then maybe He has plans for me pa at that time. Parang
Yes.
it's really important na try to relax talaga your mind before going there.
Mm.
Kasi ako, talaga, umiyak ako talaga. Before talaga ako lumabas ng kwarto,
Ah,
iniyak ko muna sa colleague ko, chinat ko na,
oo.
naiiyak na ako, I'm so worried, ganito, ganyan. Then, sabi niya, iyak mo yan, girl, ganun na talaga siya. Sige, iiyak ko muna ito, and then lalabas na ako, then I'll be okay. Kaya ganun.
Yeah.
Yun lang
Oo.
talaga yung mindset na
Mm,
i-relax and let it
mm,
go, yung mga worries, then let
mm.
God do His work, parang ganun.
Yes. When you started your exam, ito na, during your examination, how do you feel that time? And how did you experience the question coming in?
Sa akin, when I sat na during sa
Mm.
exam. Kasi
Mm.
type in yan ng login nung yung
Ay,
taga Pearson View. Then kita mo yung pangalan mo doon sa above na ito.
yes,
Sa'yo
yes.
talaga to na exam. Ito na to talaga. So sabi ko, Lord, ito na talaga, Lord. Magsa-start na talaga ako. Ganon. So, yun, nag-start na. Yung question is, hindi naman masyadong difficult. Hindi pa naman siya masyadong
Mm.
difficult yung
Mm.
question. And then, as it progress, difficulty, nagpo-progress din. Pero, nafe-feel ko talaga kapag, if ever, I think, hindi yun tama, especially, yung SATA ko kasi 18.
Mm.
I had 18 SATAs sa
Mm.
exam. So, may na-feel ako na parang nakulangan siguro yung SATA ko.
Mm.
Biglang parang naging easy yung question ko. Sabi ko, oh my God, nag-easy. Feel ko, wrong yung answer ko previously. Kasi yun yung sabi-sabi ng mga tao na kapag,
Yeah, yeah.
if ever it goes back easy na question, parang may mali sa previous question mo. So, dapat mong bawiin. So, dapat tama yon. Kapag easy na yung question, bawiin mo. Dapat correct na yon. So,
Yeah.
yun, parang it progress parang malilito ka din talaga kasi yung mga questions, I mean, yung choices, may dalawang choices doon na masasabing priority talaga silang dalawa. Pero you have to really choose kung ano talaga yung priority talaga sa dalawa.
Mm. Mm.
Doon talaga talaga yung utak mo inaalog-alog talaga sa questions.
Oo.
Yun.
So, ayun 'no, meron talagang gano'n, eh, 'no, na parang merong matitira talagang dalawa diyan. And
Mm.
that's the hardest thing to do 'no, eh, ayun, until when ka ma'am, nakailang items ka ba and how was your feeling at the time?
75 questions, I stopped at
Hmm.
75. But
Okey.
when number 60 pa lang, ihing-ihi na ako. Sabi ko, kailan ba
Oo.
mag-o-offer yung computer na, would you like to take a break? Kasi yun yung
Yeah.
sinasabi nila,
Mm.
mag-o-offer yung computer. Sabi ko, bakit hindi pa nag-o-offer to ng, would you like to take a break? Gusto ko na mag-break. Gusto ko mag-CR, pero hindi talaga ako makapag-CR. Sabi ko, hopefully by 75, sabihin na niya talaga mag-break na talaga ako kasi ihing-ihi na talaga ako. Pero nung 75, nag-stop siya. Kala ko mag-break ako. Sabi niya, parang questions for NGN.
Mm.
Yun na.
Would
Nag-answer
you
lang
like to
ako
continue
until,
the survey? Oo.
oo, yun. Until
Yeah.
number 81 kasi, parang sabi ko, gusto ko kasi i-try, baka
Oo.
hindi ako pasado. So, may na lang ako, parang gusto ko
Hint.
ma-try,
Oo.
parang yes. Pero hindi na talaga nakayanan. So, nag-81 na talaga ako, nag-raise na ako ng hana. Tapos na, okay na ako dito. Alam ko na ano yung NGN, okay na ako nito. Yung ganun.
So dun ma'am, dun ka pala nakaihi talaga after that?
Yeah, pero nag-CR din ako preview. Before ako pumasok, nag-CR talaga ako. But
Okey, okey.
then, siguro, yung nervous ko talaga,
Yes, oo.
pumasok sa number 16 na. So
Oo.
yun, feel ko talagang ihi ako pero hindi talaga ako inofferan ng computer na would you like to take a
Oo.
break? Yun talaga yung
Mm.
hinihintay ko.
That's actually one thing to notice na and to give importance to, especially to everyone who is listening right now. If ever you're feeling uncomfortable, no, try to raise your hand. It's okay, no. Don't worry about it kasi meron naman talaga yung automatic na break tulad nga ng sabi ni Ma'am Darielle, no. Every 2 hours yan. Pag first 2 hours mo, mag-o-offer yan ng break. Siguro at that time, wala pang 2 hours si Ma'am Darielle, so wala talaga siya. Pero if at that time, no, you're feeling different, you're you have different kung ano-ano mang simptomas lumalabas. Di ba? Kasi ganyan siya, eh, no? Madalas the first 2 hours, that's the kumbaga incubation period. Or every sign and symptoms will be felt that hours, no, yung headache, everything, no, hunger, yung alam mo yung kanina hindi ka gutom, then suddenly now you're hungry, no, nanginginig pa, naghahipuglay pa yung iba, no, thirsty, di ba, yung iba thirsty, and of course yun na yung naiihi. If you feel that way, no, wag niyo tiisin yung sarili niyo. be comfortable, drink water if nauuhaw, no? Eat if you're hungry at that time. Kung naiing-ihi na talaga, tulad nung kay Ma'am Darielle, no, you can just go to the CR, no, to the comfort room to to relieve yourself. Kasi mahirap siya, no, pag if you will force yourself to do that, no, luckily, no, talagang nag-stop na at 75, no. Pero if it lasted for 145 questions and you're not comfortable at that moment, then it will have a toll on you, eh. Parang siguro mga siguro ika 80s, 90s, no. And the feeling will be different. Lalo na kung mari gutom ka pala, no, and you were not able to eat, iba na yan, no. Kung hypoglay ka, medyo himatayin ka na sa panahon na yun. So you really have to prepare. Yeah, sabi ko nga, no, whatever happens that day, that exact day of the exam is 80% of your result, because there are people who go into the exam without enough sleep. A lot of them, no, experience sleeping during the exam. No? And it's true, no? Puyat ka eh. You're not. Sabi ko
Yes.
nga, if you really prepare for this exam, the day of your exam should be the best of you, no? Eh, that should be the day you are full of spirit, full of courage, full of no, full literally, no, busog, no. And of course
Mm.
that's you should have no any no, you should sleep well and rest well, no, kasi mahirap talaga pag na luckily din kay Ma'am Darielle, no, she prepared for it, no. She was just parang two doors no, two building away from Pearson View, so malapit lang talaga. But of course you really have to prepare. Dala kayo ng pagkain, no, if you're going to the examination center. Of course sa umpisa tama yung sinasabi ni Ma'am Darielle, hindi mo ma-experience yung gutom dyan yung umpisa, kasi it's more on talaga yan eh, anxiety, kakabahan ka talaga, no. Hindi ka makakain yan. Nagga-guarding yung iyong stomach, ayaw magpapasok. Even fluids, no? Tapos maiihi ka, no? So just bring food, no? Dala kayo ng pagkain. Sabi nga nila, no, sweets, di ba? Sabi nga ng iba, nga bring
Mm.
energy bar, so that if ever you really feel no, the hypotension or hypoglycemia, you can just eat it up, no. Dala kayo, no, water also, no, kasi lahat yan you'll never know when you need it, no. Just bring everything, no. Kung kailangan paracetamol for headache, no, dala kayo. Do everything that could help.
Actually, Sir Joss,
Oo.
nag-take talaga ako ng paracetamol prior sa exam
Oo.
kasi when I was reviewing, naghe-headache
Oo.
ako, nagma-migraine minsan.
Hmm.
So
Oo.
parang in-anticipate ko na kapag baka
Yes.
mag 145 questions ako,
Oo,
magpa-pain
masakit sa
reliever
ulo.
na ako. Yung or
Oo.
paracetamol. Yun,
Oo.
yun din yung ginawa ko.
Yes, yes. Tama 'yun, tama talaga 'yun. Kasi headache will really affect your sabi ko nga siguro yung sa umpisa pwede mong tiis-tiisin eh, pero kalaunan niyan, no, it will have a toll on you until the time na you won't be able to think na. And we don't want that to happen. That's why sabi sa magda-diatabs pa daw siya. So, it's true na if you need that, then do it. Kasi talagang that moment, we should be the best of ourselves at that very moment. And ma'am, I would like to know, when did you receive your result? Nakauwi na kayo nito sa Cebu?
Yes po,
Oo.
actually,
Yeah.
nag-email kasi si Miss Jean na there'll
Mm.
be
Mm.
result, it will be emailed to you, ganito, ganyan. Parang
Oo.
after 3 business days ata yun.
Mm.
Pero yun nga, nag-trick din ako, which is not
Oo.
actually advisable nga, 'di ba? Pero nag-try pa rin. Yung friend ko
Oo.
yung nag-trick. But then before talaga nag-trick, kinondisyon ko na yung mind ko
Mm.
na if whatever the result is, i-accept ko talaga. If
Yes.
ever I need to retake, then I
Mm.
should improve ano yung nagkulang sa akin, bakit hindi
Mm.
naman pass, ganito.
Mm.
And it doesn't really, para sa akin kung mag-fail man, it's not
Mm.
the end of the world. You still have the opportunity to take it again.
Mm.
So, wag mawala ng pag-asa. Mapapasa at mapapasa din yan. Yun yung advice ko. Especially yung mga mahihina yung loob, yung feeling nila na baka hindi para talaga sa akin.
Oo.
No. binigyan ka ng opportunity na ganito ngayon, if ever you won't pass it right now, then you will have another time. Siguro hindi pa ito talaga, but ano lang, tina-try ni Lord sa'yo ito so that if ever, if ready ka na, hinog ka na for that, then you will pass it talaga. Yun.
Exactly, no? Sabi ko nga, no, everything happens for a reason talaga eh. I could relate to that because I failed it once, no, the NCLEX. I failed it once. And sabi ko nga, no, if that didn't happen, I won't be really serious about this exam. Because at first, no, I was not so serious about it. Sabi nila, pumapasa daw kahit without review. Sabi nila, no, that's why my first advice, no, if my students are here, no, ang una ko sinasabi, remove all stereotypes because I'm a victim of that. No, sabi nila, oh, kaya mo yan? ICU ka nga for a long time, for quite some time. So, papasa ka dyan, kaya mo na yan, alam mo na yan, no? But it's not true, no? It's not true. There are a lot of things you will still learn, no? During this journey, and you just have to be open to that, no? And it doesn't really matter what is your experience, no? NCLEX is different. It's a different exam, and to be ready for this exam, you need. If you need help, then you need help, no? IPASS is here, so maximize the help that we can give, no? We have our review, we have our lecturers, and of course our coaches, no? That can guide you all throughout this journey. As I was saying, no, I failed it once, so I know how to pass it. No, that's what I did when I became part of IPASS. Also, no, I studied here, and I was also part of the team replay. No, I also prepared for 2 months, and that's it. No, 2 months and exam. Then kaya, no, everything is possible. You just really have to have the dedication and commitment. And of course, in your part, Ma'am Darielle, no, we have seen your journey towards this NCLEX. And how did you feel the moment you see that pass?
I was relieved talaga. Parang nagfa-flashback yung memories na nag-study ako, mga galing duty, like if ever PM shift ako until 10 or 12 na ako makauwi. Magsa-study pa ako sometimes, especially kung off ako the next day. Magsa-study ako until 6 a.m., mga ganun. And then, yung gastos ko, naaalala ko sila, it's worth it. Yung mga gastos ko na, yung mga tinitipid-tipid ko. Yung mga times kasi na, before, may makakagala ka pa, makaka-buy ka pa ng whatever you want. But then, yung nag-apply ka for NCLEX, nag-review ka for NCLEX, it's big money talaga. So, yun. Nag-limit din talaga ako. And then, yung Korean novela ko talaga, nag-stop talaga ako. Sabi ko talaga, hindi ako magko-Korean novela kapag review for since November, wala akong Korean novela. Ngayon lang, nakakapag-Korean novela na ako ngayon. Just last week, nag-start ako ng Korean novela ulit. Kasi parang nag-fast talaga ako ng Korean novela kasi magre-review talaga ako. Parang yun talaga yung sinabi ko sa sarili ko. Ito yung gustong-gusto ko na i-let go ko para sa NCLEX. So yun, parang you have to have something to sacrifice talaga kung gusto mo talaga ito i-achieve. Yes. So yeah, I'm so happy. I'm so happy for the support also sa mga colleagues ko, sa supervisor ko din. Especially that for the month of January, yung schedule ko in-approve nila kasi hindi kasi pwede ng 1 month mag-leave. I tried but hindi daw pwede, sabi ng nurse manager ko. So, in-approve lang yung yung AM shift na lang ako for the month. Parang may 1 day lang ako na PM shift. Then I 12 days duty ako for the month of January. Para ko lang talaga na kahit mag-review, mag-duty pa rin. So, ayun, walang excuse talaga. Ganun talaga, nurse talaga tayo dito. No excuses.
And it's so beautiful, lalo na the way you put it, that everything flashback, all the sacrifices paid off, no? And it's all worth it. Is it all worth it, ma'am? It's all worth it. So ayun, so ayun talaga, you need to sacrifice talaga, no? There are really things you need to sacrifice. Sabi ko nga, whatever it is that you're into, no? Even if you're into gaming, kung mahilig ka maglaro, if you're into like anime watching or Korean novela or ano na, live selling. Yung mga ganyan, iba't ibang libangan, no? Netflix or whatsoever. Just a little bit of sacrifice, no? Hindi naman to panghabang buhay, no? It's just for this short period of time that you need to focus on your exam. After this, you can do everything, di ba? Kung gusto mong mag-Korean novela 1 to Sawa, now you can do that. Pwede na, ma'am, no? Pwede na magpuyatan ng Korean novela, no?
Opo.
Ayan. Gusto na rin daw mag-end ni Christine Joy Basarde ng kanyang fasting sa Korean novela. So ayan, no, lahat talaga yan, no. Sabi nga, no, if I can just share it, no, don't worry, it will pass. Everything does, no. Sabi ni Buddha yan. So ayan, no, don't worry, it will pass. Everything does. So if ever you're experiencing these struggles as of this very moment, no, don't worry, it will pass, no? Everything does. And you will also receive your USRN. You just have to focus now because that's the most important thing. It's good kay Ma'am Darielle that she was able to prioritize the most important thing. And of course, mahirap talaga yun. Nag-work ka and nag-i-study ka at the same time. Other people need to resign for that, no? And I could relate to that, no? Sinabi ni Ma'am na hindi talaga pwede ng ng 1 month, no. Other people are allowed to do so, but there are in-demand nurses, no? In different hospitals, no? Depende sa hospital yan, eh. And if your hospital is like that, no, it's really hard to study, to balance the two. But sabi nga ni Ma'am, there is no excuse, you can do it, no? Kinaya nga ni Ma'am Darielle, kakayanin nyo rin. So next time, no, yung mga 140 participants listening right now, you'll be the next one, no, to pass this exam. Ayan. So ayun. And ma'am, before anything else, I would just like to know if you have any people to thank to, and of course, any advice you can give to our classmates who are about to take the exam. Ayan.
Yes po. I'd like to thank the IPASS family talaga, especially sa mga coaches, sa mga trainers natin talaga, sina Sir Jay, sina Mr. Sana, sina Sir Ryan, sina Miss Pau, Sir Gino, and sa inyo din po, sa inyong Hope Talk also, Sir Coach Justin. Even though hindi, may times talaga na siniskip ko na talaga kasi ko talaga yung content na lang. Pero may times na nagli-listen naman din ako sa sa mga Hope Talk din naman minsan. That it's really really helpful for us, especially kapag malapit na yung exam. Doon ako nagli-listen na talaga sa Hope Talk talaga. Ano yung ginagawa nila? Ano talaga yung inspiration nila? Yun. It's really, really helpful to relieve the stress that you're experiencing, especially if the exam is fast approaching na talaga. And I'd like to thank also yung mga tao na bumubuo ng IPASS Online Academy, because without this online academy, I don't know kung saan ako na review center mag-apply din. And this platform really helped me and also the other students also to pass the exam, especially for us na matagal nang graduate sa nursing school. And also I'd like to thank the one and only God na nagbigay ng provision sa akin na to take this exam and help me pass talaga. So before my exam, the week before talaga my exam, every day nagpupunta ako ng simbahan. Naglalight ako ng candle, and I'm asking for guidance, and also I also ask for me and for my colleagues also, and for the other people who's taking the exam na sana makapasa. So yun yung ginawa ko noon. And to the students that are going to take the exam, if yung anxiety level is really really high already, you have to meditate or really pray your heart out talaga. If you really need to cry, you can cry in your prayer para lang ma-relieve yung stress na nafe-feel mo. If you need to talk to someone that you can trust, that yung best friend ba, spouse, family member na you can really trust your feelings ba. You should talk to them also. Ganon. And then, kung may time na maglibang, like if you're fond of playing games sa phone or computer, pwede naman mag-play. But hindi yun i-focus mo, parang 30 minutes lang, ganon. And then go back to the study na again. And yun, I'm just really, really happy na I passed. And I'm hoping for everyone na magte-take na exam na mapass yung NCLEX, especially NGN is magsa-start na. So, yeah, mas mataas naman yung anxiety ng mga magte-take sa NGN. But I'm really, really rooting for you guys na papasa talaga kayo sa, kahit baguhin pa nila yung NCLEX, mapapasa niyo yung NCLEX talaga. Yan.
So ayun na, Ma'am Darielle, thank you very much. No, such an inspiring words. No, and just to add up, no, thank you for also appreciating the Hope Talk. No, as I was saying before, this is actually the beauty of Hope Talk, because sometimes it's not really it's not just about the story. It's just actually seeing someone making it. That oy, si Ma'am Darielle, ampong classmate ko yan. But she made it, di ba? And now she's a USRN. One day, me too, I can also be a USRN. One day, me too, will also be a guest in Hope Talk. No? One day. So with the right formula, Ma'am Darielle already shared it with us. No? And again, Ma'am Darielle, thank you very much for your time. We are so inspired. And of course, we learned a lot. Ayan. So, ayan, ang dami. No? Congratulations. And again, Ma'am, thank you very much and congratulations. With that, I would like to present this certificate. Ayan. So, meron tayo pa certificate. Ayan. Wow. This NCLEX certificate is given to Darielle Ampong for successfully passing the NCLEX-RN examination. This serves as a proof that Darielle Ampong is a safe nurse based on the USA standards of nursing practice. Given this 13th of March 2023, signed by Sir J. Padong and Sir Mark Zaspa. Ayan. Again, Ma'am Darielle Ampong, USRN, congratulations.